What's up, YouTube? A little bit of everything Southern Homestead here. Today we're doing a 2022 fall garden update, and then we're going to tell y'all a little bit about how we fertilize. Garden's doing pretty good. It's getting close to the end of October. Prime growing temperatures, prime growing weather. It's been a little dry, as you can tell, but we're going to do a little fertilizing with some watering, and then we're going to do some micronutrients sprayed directly on the leaves for kind of a two-punch technique. Immediate fertilization and then a little bit more prolonged fertilization. So what we're looking at here is from left to right. The first row is our cauliflower. It's looking pretty good. Second row is broccoli. The third row is a staged cabbage grow. You can see the two in the furthest portion of the row are getting pretty large. The ones as they come closer are a little smaller. That way everything doesn't ripen at one time and we don't have a whole bunch of cabbages to pick all within the same week. The next row, the furthest portion is green onions. The closest portion is kale. They're a little close to each other, but we'll thin them out as they get a little bigger. And then the next row is some luscious greens, some collard greens. The row after that's our carrots, which we planted 3 separate plantings, all in different succession dates, so they'll kind of mature in a stage process. The center row first, the right row second, and then the left row last. And then against the fence is some vine and peas that we're growing. Everything's looking pretty good. We've been pulling grass, keeping everything nice and clean. We leave the grass in between the rows, that way when we walk in our shoes don't get muddy. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna fertilize and we're gonna water all at one time. And then we're gonna spray those micronutrients on the plants themselves. I'll show y'all how to mix it, the products we use. They'll have links in the description. Let's go. All right, so here we're just gonna get us some water in this container. It's a little sprayer. Spray and grow is a micronutrient you spray on top of the leaves, on the foliage of the plants. For the mixture, it requires the water to be a temperature of 80 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So what I did was I turned on the tap water, got it hot, measured it, filled up the container. And this is just your run-of-the-mill digital thermometer. And like I said, 80 to 100 is where we want it. That's Fahrenheit. It's looking like it's 95, 96 here. Doesn't seem like it's going to go above 100, so I think we got it pretty good here. We'll bring it outside, we'll mix up the nutrients, and then it has to sit for a little while before use. So this is what we're using today. It's Spray and Grow Micronutrients, the perfect blend. It's a micronutrient, a fertilizer, and the cocoa wet is an adhesive that helps the micronutrients stick to the plant. You can find more about this product at sprayandgrowgardening.com. I'll put a link in the description. All right, so we got our water between 80 and 100 degrees Fahrenheit, just like it says. So we'll go ahead and add our products. We'll start off here with the Spray and Grow micronutrient. Gives you a little analysis there. You're gonna shake it real well. And for this container, we need 3 teaspoons. So I have a half of a teaspoon, so we'll end up putting 6 to make 3 total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's the micronutrients. And again, this is the Spray and Grow perfect blend. So there's 3 portions. So next we're gonna do Bill's Perfect Fertilizer. It's a 6-11-5, the NPK, nitrogen, potassium, and then phosphorus or potash. So for this container, it calls for 1.5 teaspoons. Again, we have that same half teaspoon measurer. So 1.5. So this is the actual fertilizer portion of the mix. Again, it's a 6-11-5 Spray and Grow product, and I'll put a link in the description. Not too many people that I know use this. but I find great success with it. And then last, we're going to add what's called Cocoa Wet. This is a binding agent. So this mixture is sprayed on the leaves of the plant. It binds the plant, and then it's absorbed through the leaves. So we're kind of going to do a twofer today on the plant. Since we're prime growing season, we'll water fertilize first, and then we'll spray this on the foliage second. So for this container, we need a 1/4 teaspoon. So we have that half. And if you notice that little ridge down there, it's about 1/4. So this is some very thick stuff, almost like a syrup. And we'll add that in, kind of stir that a little bit. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna cap it off. And they recommend that you let it kind of just sit out in the sun. If your pH of your water is correct, you'll get a yellow coloration of the mixture. If your pH is wrong, they have some instructions on how to correct that. So here we go. 80 to 100 Fahrenheit. We added the 3 products. And now we're just gonna let it sit while we do the watering portion. All right, so this is my rain collection system. I have a 2-barrel system, 55-gallon drum each barrel. Yeah, the barrel is leaning, and that's made for the water to go to one side. That way I can get all the water out by using that spigot below. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna fill up that watering can, and we're gonna add some 20-20-20. Again, that's the NPK, the nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, or potash. It's a water-soluble 20-20-20, so it's blue in color. Looks a lot like the Miracle-Gro, and it's just a real complete nutrient-dense fertilizer that I like to use. Being as water-soluble, the plants can get the uptake real quick, and they really seem to like it. So again, we're going to be doing that on our in-ground plants. Rainwater, 20-20-20 water soluble from Hoss Tools, which I'll show a picture of the bag here, and I'll have a link in the description. And we're going to water this garden, and then when we're done, we're going to spray the spray and grow on the leaves and then let that dry. All right, let's get it. All right, so we're going to turn the rainwater on here. It's about a 2.5 gallon watering bucket, so we'll do 1 full scoop. There you go. It looks just like Miracle-Gro, but it's a little bit more nutrient rich. Again, that's the 20-20-20 from Hoss Tools. I'll have a link in the description. So we'll let that fill up, and we'll get to watering. All right, so this is our rainwater and 20-20-20 mixture. I'm gonna just try to get right under the base of the plants, try not to get the leaves wet, because we're gonna come back and spray the spray and grow micronutrients directly on the leaves. And just like that, get it done. All right, it's just that simple. Everything watered by hand. Try not to get the leaves as much as possible. The mustard greens and the collard greens, it was a little hard to do because they're so close together, but we got it done. Rainwater mixed with Hoss Tool 20-20-20. They're gonna love it. All right, so next we're gonna do the spray and grow micronutrients. The instructions say you can spray any plant with 3 or more leaves. Everything in this garden essentially has 3 or more leaves. We probably won't really spray the onion tops. I'm not quite sure if it works on those or not. But this is the bottle that we mixed up earlier. I don't know if you can tell, but it kind of has an orange color to it, which is indicative that our water is the right pH. The temperature was correct, and the mixture is successful. So we'll go ahead and we'll spray that on the leaves, just a light mist, and the plants will absorb it through the leaves. At the same time, they're getting that 20-20-20 through the roots. So they ought to really jump in the next week or so. Plus, I think we have some rain in the forecast, which is going to be real good because the conditions have been dry here. But let's get it. Let's get this done. And then maybe I'll show you all some of the container plants and how healthy they look, and the method on fertilizing those with the 20-20-20 and the spray and grow micronutrient spray. All right, let's get it. So just an example, this is one of the cauliflower plants. The sprayer here, just a little light spray. Cauliflowers have a real waxy leaf, which is why we added that cocoa wet to the mixture. It really helps that water to stay and not bead off. I don't know if you can see that, but that looks pretty good for that one. Now we'll do this one. This process is pretty quick, doesn't take much. Another nice cauliflower plant here. We'll go ahead and spray them down. They said you want to spray it just to where it starts to kind of run off. You don't want to overdo it, but we'll get this done. Get them fertilized. They'll be happy, happy. All right, so that's it. The spray and grow has been applied. We had 1.5 liters mixed up. We used about a half of it. This is a 25 by 25 foot garden, 7 rows, 25 feet long. As you can see, full of plants. The stuff really goes a long ways. Let's go take a look at some plants that are in containers, and I'll show you how we fertilize those with the 20-20-20. And then the method for the spray and grow is the same. Just spray it on top of the leaves as long as there's 3 or more leaves, and they'll love it. All right, so this is some of the container vegetables. They're still under my little roof here in my barbecue area, sitting on a little table and some styrofoam blocks here. This planter to the left is an Emsco planter. It's very similar to the one I made a video about prior that we have over here, and we'll show it there in a minute. But Emsco is essentially the same. They have a little container with a water reservoir on the bottom, a plastic plate in between, and you can keep about 2 gallons of water under the plants at all times. Prevents you from having the water on top. Lets the nutrients in the roots absorb without watering on top, which therefore eliminates most of the chance for any kind of virus or bacteria invading the roots. This container on the left, I have 2 different kind of cabbages. Some early cabbage. You can see they're looking pretty healthy here. Starting to kind of form a little head. Here is some butter crunch lettuce, and I tried this one with the cover on just to see if it made a difference. And then this last one, I have some Swiss chard, a variation lettuce, and then the other one I think is a Vivian, which is a little mixture, kind of like a romaine, if I recall correctly. Let's go on to the other side here and look at the other plants. So in the earth box here, which is similar to the Emsco, a little bit more durable, a little different shape, I have some kale. You can see us doing pretty good. You can see there they have the cover, they have the fill tube, and then here I have my Brussels sprouts. They're looking phenomenal. Again, same concept. You can see the little fill tube there. They're getting pretty big. And then this last one on the end here with no cover, I have some more cabbage. Early round Dutch, I believe, or early flat Dutch, but you can see those 2 are kind of shading out the other ones. But we still have some days that are getting up to 91, 90. So once those days go by the wayside, I'll move all these plants into direct sun. But for now, I'm just trying to protect them. They look like they're enjoying it, like I'm doing the right thing. So I'll show you how we fertilize with the 20-20-20. Simply just put it down the tube, fill up the reservoir until it barely comes out the edge, out of the drain holes here. And then just stop there, and since it's a water soluble 20-20-20, it just sits in the water and the plants are able to absorb it directly through their roots, And then we'll spray some spray and grow on top of all these plants. We may avoid some of those little small lettuces back here because they don't quite have 3 leaves on them yet, which is the recommendation by spray and grow. But that butter crunch lettuce is going to get both. The kale is going to get both. And those cabbages will get both. And again, we won't be using the rainwater. It'll just take too long, but I have the ice purifier for my city water, which is doing phenomenal. Plants are loving it. No chlorine. It's not killing the plants. It's not hurting them, killing the micronutrients. All right, so everything has gotten 20 down the drain pipe or the field tube until it came out the overflow reservoir. So they all topped off with good water. NPK of 20 nutrient dense. So now we're gonna take that same bottle of spray and grow and we're just gonna spray the top of all the plants. Just like that. That's it. 20 filled up the water reservoirs, sprayed them with spray and grow micronutrients, Bill's fertilizer, and cocoa wet. It's the end of October. It's prime growing season. Time to get these cabbages making a head. Get them ready for another 30 or 40 days, and then they'll be ready to pick.